Yo, welcome to Next God Creations. Today we are going to look at how I designed this flyer. So first of all, let me import my image. This is my image. I'll drag and drop in Photoshop like this. Then I'll scale it down a bit. Then I'll position it in the middle. Then I'll click on the layer. Then hit on rasterize layer. Then in the properties window, I'll scroll down. You'll see remove background. Click on it. But before we continue, check through the description. You will see the link that will lead you to download all the resources that I'm using for this tutorial. So this is the image. So let me see before and after. So you have to do a little bit adjustment, but before we do that, let's create background for the design. So I'll select my rectangle tool, then I'll draw over my working space like this. Then I'll drag it below the image. I want to use two colors for the background, so I'll use the gradient. So when I hit on FS, I'll select gradient overlay. Then I'll change the style to linear, radial, sorry. Then I'll change the colors. So for this color, I want to make it a dark blue, so I'll sample the color in her clothes like this. And for this color, I'll use light color, so I'll sample color from this side like this. I'll press OK. So now let's make some adjustments in the picture. So when you look here, you see some part of the glass has been cut off. So I'll click on this layer, the layer mark, then I'll select brush. Then I'll make sure the brush color is on white. So let me decrease the size. Then I'll brush. I'll increase the hardness too. Then I'll brush. Like this. So for this side, I'll remove the background manually. So I'll use the pen tool, then I'll click on the actual image, not the layer marks. Then I'll draw over like this. So Ctrl plus enter, then I'll hit on delete. Then I'll press Ctrl D to remove that line like this. So I have my image. The image is now ready. So let's proceed. So I'll decrease the size of the image a bit, something like this is okay. Then you see the background is looking plain, so I'll have to add something. So let's use this image for that. It's looking too plain, so I'll increase the size for it to fit through the working space like this. Then I'll blur it by heading over to filter, blur, Gaussian blur. I'll increase the size. Then I'll change the blending mode to something like, so you can try. So I think overlay is okay. Then I'll create another background, but then let's clear the middle here. So I'll create a mask, then I'll select brush, then I'll increase the size. Then I'll make sure my brush color is on black. Then I'll click. Oh, sorry, let's reduce the hardness like this. Like this is okay. So now let's import another image, which is this one. So you drag and drop, then you also increase the size like this. Then you change the blending mode to screen, something like this. But now let's create some marks for it, because we don't want it to display everywhere. So you click on this one to create the marks. Then you select the brush, then you make sure the brush color is on black. Now I'll paint over. Remember to reduce the hardness. Then I'll paint over like this at the areas that you don't want it to show. Something like this. Then let's create another thing too. We are going to create a gradient, but that one will be on top of the work. So you click on this half shaded circle, then select gradient. Then I'll click inside these gradients. For the first one, I'll sample a dark color, which is the blue, and the second color to the same thing, the same dark color. Then I'll press on OK. Then I'll change the blending mode. Let me drag it below like this. Then I'll change the blending mode. So something like, let's see. So you can play around it and choose the one that works perfect for you. So let me see before and after. So I think the highlight is okay. Now I can right click on the image layer, then I'll click on apply layer marks, then I'll create another layer marks, then I'll select my brush, make sure the brush color is on black. I'll reduce the size a bit, then I'll paint over this portion like this, like this. Yeah, exactly. So let me increase the size of the image a bit, then drag it up a bit like this. So we are almost done. So I'm going to add the screenshot of my Instagram. So I'll drag and drop my Instagram screenshot like this. Then I'll bring it on top of this first layer. Then I'll change the blending mode to screen like this. So I'll increase the size a bit. I'll bring it down. Then I'll create mask for it. Then I'll select my brush, then make sure the brush color is on black. Then I'll paint over the areas that I don't want it to display like this. Yes. Now let's select this rectangle tool, then I'll draw something like this. I'll click on this dot, push it a bit to get a round round edge square, round edge rectangle, sorry. Then I'll change the color to red, so color overlay, then I'll change the color to red. Something like this, dark red. Now I'll duplicate that same shape, then I'll change the color to dark yellow, something like that. Yeah. So I'll select both, then reduce the size, then place it in the middle like this. let me create a circle like this, but hold the shift to get a perfect circle. After creating it, create a triangle using the triangle tool like this. So now I'll rotate the triangle, then I'll place it on top of the circle, something like that. We are creating something like a dialog. Then I'll select both, then I'll press Ctrl G, then Ctrl E. So Ctrl G will group it and Ctrl E will merge it. Then I'll change the color to white. Like this. So I'll bring it here. Let me create a space between these shapes. I'll drag this one to this side. Then I'll push this one here. So now let me insert this notification icon. I'll rasterize it. Then I'll reduce the size. Then I'll place it inside like this. So I'll type here Next God Creations. I'll highlight both, then click on this icon, give it a space, then I'll highlight only the creations, then I'll reduce the size from this side. Now let me change the color to white. Then I'll place it inside this shape. Then I'll duplicate the same text. Then I'll type my telephone number. Like this. Then I'll place it here. Now I'm doing this design because of March. So let me now type the main theme. So I'll create the same rectangle like this. Then I'll make sure it is round edged. I'll make it round edge. So I'll drag like this. Then I'll select I'll press on the control, then point the cursor to one edge of the shape like this. Then I'll drag it to this side. When I'm done, I'll press on enter. Then I'll select my triangle tool. I'll create a triangle like this. Then I'll rotate it to this side like this. Let me increase the size a bit. Yes, so the same procedure. I'll select both shape, Ctrl G to group, then Ctrl E to merge. When I'm done, I'll change the color to light blue. So color overlay, then I'll change it to blue, like this blue. Then I'll go to outer glow. I'll change that color to blue. Okay, then I'll increase the opacity, then I'll increase the size. Let me work on the colors again. The color overlay too. I want it to glow, so I have to get the right colors. Now let me go to the outer glow again. Yeah, okay, so I think this is okay. So I'll position it here, then I'll reduce the size let me type inside new month. New month. I'll change the color to blue, the dark one, like this. So let me reduce the size. Like this. Then I'll select both, then use the magnet tool to clip them. Bring it to this side. I'll duplicate the same thing, then I'll rotate it like this. Then I'll duplicate the same thing, then I'll rotate it like this. But now I'll delete the text inside. I'll delete the text. Then I'll select this one, I'll right click, then flip horizontal, rotate it this way. Then I'll type match. Let's change the color of this shape to yellow. Color overlay. Then I'll change the color to yellow. Then outer glow tool to yellow. Like this. Then now I'll place the match inside the shape. Reduce the size. Let me add the H. Like this. So when I'm done, I'll select both. Then I'll use the magnet tool to clip them. Then I'll copy this same match. I'll bring it here. Then I'll reduce the size. I'll reduce the size for this one too. Sorry. I have to select both before. Reduce the size. Like this. So we are almost done. But let's make a little adjustment. I'll still need to clean some parts of the Instagram icon. Of the Instagram screenshot, sorry, like this. And for this side, on top of this, I'll create a solid color. Then I'll make the color this one. I'll change the blending mode to screen. Then I'll select the mark, Ctrl I to invert. Then I'll make sure my brush color is on white. I'll increase my brush size. Then I'll click like this. So let me increase the size. Let me bring it here. Yeah, like this. You see, it's now appearing. This is the glow I wanted to create. So let's see the before, after. Yeah. So this is the design, but then let's brighten the image by using the camera raw. So I'll select the image, then I'll go to filter, camera raw. In camera raw, I'll increase the white. I'll increase the texture. Then I'll decrease the highlight a bit. The white to go. Then I'll press on OK. You see now the image is brightened. So let me create a color lookup for all the design. I want it to pop now. So I'll select the three stripe look. Then I'll decrease the opacity a bit. Now I'll press on Ctrl or Shift and E to merge all the layers. Then I'll do my adjustment in camera raw to make the design pop and bright more. So this is the camera raw I'm opening now. So in camera raw, I'll still increase the white a bit. I'll increase the texture. Let the white go a bit. Then the vibrance to a little bit. Then I'll go to effect. Then I'll increase the green. I like using this thing. Yes. So let's see the before and after. So before, after. Now press on OK. So now that is all for today. So thank you for watching this video. See you next time.